Okay, you guys, before we get started, you want to make sure you have all of your supplies. I have a pair of gloves, a piece of cardboard for cutting on, 2 different pairs of scissors, and I need a pair of small and a pair of large, a towel for the bleach, some bottles, some dye, and just some bleach in a separate bottle. So you want to make sure that you lay out your towel and protect your surface that you're working on. I'm just doing it on my floor. And before you start spraying bleach, you want to make sure that you put your gloves on and you lay the shirt out flat. You also want to make sure that you try on the shirt first before you start doing anything to it. And I'm going to insert a little clip of me trying on this jack-o'-lantern t-shirt. All of these shirts are from Walmart. I got this one in an oversized, I think this is an extra large, because the 2XL from last year was like way too oversized and long for it to work. This one's going to be kind of rocked as a mini dress, hopefully with like a pair of shorts or something underneath it, but it's just a quick little easy DIY that you can do. First thing I like to do is lay out my t-shirt. I'm doing this in my beauty room, by the way, so don't mind if it's a little bit messy. And I like to make my cuts first. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your box, and you're also going to grab your scissors. I have 2 pairs, a small pair and a big pair, and they make different kinds of cuts. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start working with the sleeves because they are going to be just too oversized on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at an angle upwards, so that way you have more left at the top of the sleeve than you do at the bottom of the sleeve. So just kind of like this. And do not worry about making this like even or anything. I also do like to do like the rip method just because I think it looks cooler sometimes. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this shirt over on this side so we can kind of get an idea of how much we cut off. And like I said before, if it's uneven, it really doesn't matter. This shirt's getting destroyed anyway. Okay, so now what we're going to start doing is stretching out the bottom of this shirt. We kind of want it to flare out and look like it's been through the wringer a little bit. If you get little pops or like rips or whatever, that's totally fine because we just want it to be literally destroyed. Normally what I would do at the seam at this point after I was done stretching it out, and please ignore my dogs, they're just so interested in everything that I do, but you know, it's fine. Normally I would cut off the bottom of the seam, but because I don't want to lose any length, I'm just going to leave it as is and start distressing the bottom of this shirt with my scissors. And just start stretching it long ways. This is a little bit easier to have someone do when you're wearing it, but since we don't have anyone here to help us, we're just gonna stretch it out ourselves. You can also do this when it's wet, which we will do as well. And that gives you a little extra length, which is so nice. Okay, so I'm also going to come up here and stretch the collar a little bit as well. We just want to really, really stretch the shirt out. Now for the fun stuff, which is the cuts one. We're going to take our box and we're going to place it inside as a cutting medium, and I'm going to really focus on the hem down here at the bottom. This is going to take a while, so don't mind. Okie dokie. So what I'm going to be doing is working on the hem of the shirt first, and I'm just taking the little scissors and making little cuts and clips into the bottom of the shirt and then stretching out the holes. You never want to just cut it and then like leave it there. You always want to stretch out the hole that you've made, so that way it looks like, you know, it's supposed to be there, not that you just like you wore that hole in there, not that you just sort of cut holes in it and, you know, left it that way. I'm also taking the little scissors and making teeny tiny little like clips and tricks, and then I'm also taking the scissors and using them on their side and pulling them across the fabric to create different kind of marks of distressing. Make sure you have your cutting medium in the back there, and make sure that you're going on the back of the shirt as well as the front of the shirt, and just take creative liberty with this however you want to. Now I'm just going to take that test fabric and just spray some bleach on it, let it sit and see the color that it turns, and that's how you determine how long you want to let your bleach sit before you rinse it out. It's just creative liberty with this. I'm going to say that phrase a lot, so just do whatever your little heart desires and it's going to turn out great. So I'm just taking the bleach in the spray bottle and spritzing it all over the whole shirt, just kind of using creative liberty and deciding where I'd like to have a little more bleach and where I don't want the bleach. This is all really just personal preference and how you think you want your shirt to look. I'm just going to go ahead and splatter some of this bleach on this shirt to get like a paint splatter kind of effect and make it a little more distressed looking. I wish I had left the bleach on a little bit longer, but what are you gonna do? Also, I'm just gonna squish it around a little bit and just get it really like soaked in the bleach and messy, and let it sit for a few minutes before I rinse it out. There's really not a wrong way to put bleach on a shirt. You just kind of go with it and do what your heart desires. I'm going to go ahead and rinse this out in the sink. Sorry I didn't get any actual footage of me rinsing it out in the sink because I'm the worst YouTuber ever. But you want to make sure that you use cold water to make sure that the bleach stops developing, and that way you keep the desired color of bleach that you want. Make sure you give it some really good squeezes, squish it around in your sink, and wring it out really well, and then we're going to hang it up to dry in the shower, so that way if the bleach starts dripping onto anything, it's not really going to make that big of a difference. And then you should just have a damp shirt, and you can already see where the bleach began to lighten it. And I didn't want to do too much to this shirt because it's already kind of cool on its own, but the bleach was left on for a decent amount of time, and so you can see how it's starting to discolor. So it's a very light kind of like different tie-dyed kind of style. You can definitely see it a little bit more in the back, and so you just gonna let this guy hang out here and drip dry. Okay, so this is the next shirt that we're going to be DIYing. The shirt's also from Walmart. All these shirts are. And this shirt just says, "I'm with Creepy." I thought it was so cute. Apparently it also glows in the dark. I have yet to test that out. This shirt is just a large. It's not super oversized or anything because I wanted to be able to wear it with actual jeans or like shorts or something, so that way it wouldn't be like too big on me. But we're just going to be doing a little bit to it. I don't want to do anything too crazy because this shirt is already so cool on its own. So I went ahead and added a trash bag underneath my towel just to make sure that the bleach doesn't seep onto my floor. And the first thing that we're going to be doing with this shirt is cutting off the sleeves. That's the first step we're going to do with every one of these shirts. And then adding in the distressing on the shirt with the scissors where we want it, as we want it. I'm just stretching out the hem. I think I also cut the hem off on this shirt as well because I wasn't really worried about having any extra length with it since I wasn't trying to wear it as like a mini dress or anything. And I just made a cut and then ripped the hem off so that way it looks a little more distressed and a little bit cooler and a little bit more like punk rock edgy. Now I'm going up to the neck and I'm just stretching it out. I'm not like cutting anything too crazy on it. I just wanted to add some distressing around the neckline. So I'm just poking my scissors through, making little cuts, and then stretching them out with my fingers. You always want to make sure that you're going back and stretching out the holes with your fingers just to make it look more worn in and beat up instead of a deliberate cut. Now I'm just going through and adding little bits of distressing to the rest of the shirt, cutting little bitty holes here and there and stretching it out, using my scissors kind of just willy-nilly all over the place where I think that holes are necessary or that I think that they'll look good. And it's just creative liberty with this. Do what you think looks good and you really can't mess it up. So don't be scared, just go for it. Even if you do too much, it's still going to look really cool in the end. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and pop the bleach on. I did do a test spot on the back of the shirt just to make sure that I liked what it was doing and the way that it was turning. And I'm just going to go ahead and do just like we did with the other shirt, where I just spray some on, dab some on, like put some on the trash bag and squish it around. Like I said before, there's no wrong way to put bleach on a shirt, so just go with it and it's going to turn out great. See how quickly the bleach starts to turn on the black shirt versus on the orange shirt too, which is kind of crazy. But whenever you go to rinse this shirt out, you also want to make sure you use cold water, so that way the bleach doesn't develop anymore. I feel like I might have gone a little ham with this bleach, but it turned out looking pretty cool in the end. And don't forget to do the back of the shirt as well to make sure everything ties in together. Okay, so this next step is totally optional, but I'm just putting down a trash bag in my bathtub so I can dye this shirt green. I'm just setting this shirt down in the bathtub, and I'm going to be pouring the dye over the shirt into the trash bag, and I let this sit for about an hour, and it came out exactly the way that I wanted to. You can let the dye sit for however long you think is necessary, but I found that an hour gave me just the right hint of color. And I will say that when I washed this dye out, I washed it outside, like like with the water hose, and it didn't stain anything. So I think it turned out pretty great in the end, but once again, this is totally optional. Okay, for our next shirt, this one is super cute. This is another glow in the dark shirt, I do believe, and it just got a little zombie pinup girl, and she just says brains. I think she's absolutely precious. This shirt is in an extra large, but it's like not as oversized as the other extra large, so I'm going to be doing a lot of stretching to make this kind of like a mini dress style, and I think it's going to turn out really cute. So of course, the first thing that I'm going to do with our final shirt is rip the sleeves off like I did with every other shirt. And then this one I'm being even more careless. Chance really likes this shirt, so I'm not going to do anything too crazy to it. And I'm obviously not cutting any length off. I'm not doing anything like that. And I'm just going to really stretch it out because he likes it a lot and wanted to wear it too. So we're going to share this one. You can see that I'm just doing a bunch of cuts in the hem just because I think it looks cool, and then a bunch of teeny tiny little cuts all over the place. Once again, don't forget to stretch these holes out because it makes it look more realistic and less like you're just, you know, chopping holes in a shirt. I thought that kind of like the burnout tiny holes effect on this shirt would be way cooler and complement the huge graphic a little bit more because I didn't want to overpower the graphic. I also did a bunch of tiny little cuts on the hem at the top on the neckline because I thought that it would give it even more of a rugged, distressed look. Now we're going to flip the shirt over and do pretty much the same thing on the back that we did on the front, just cutting in a bunch of little holes, stretching it out, and adding some distressing. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on to make sure that my hands are protected, and then I'm going to just spray some bleach onto the trash bag and run the shirt over it because I love the way that it kind of made it almost like a tie-dye effect, and it looked very realistic, like bleach had just kind of splattered all over the shirt, and it gave it just a really nifty effect, and I really ended up liking the way that it looked. But like I said before, there's absolutely no wrong way to put bleach on a shirt, so you just do you, boo, and it's going to come out great. Alright, so after you finish letting the bleach sit for a while, make sure you rinse out this shirt in really cold water to stop the bleach from turning, and you should be good to go. Okay guys, so I went ahead and washed this shirt out, and while it didn't like dye it a super intense green, it did give like a greenish tint to the bleach stains, which is exactly what I was hoping it would do. So it looks pretty cool. It's not straight up orange anymore, which is really awesome. It's a more muted color, but that's that shirt done. And we have this one, which came out really cool as well. And then also our cutesy little jack-o'-lantern shirt, which I might put some more bleach on a little bit later. Don't know if I will or not yet, but we're just gonna let them hang out and drip dry, and whenever they're done, I will check back in with you guys.